Welcome to my AI Playground code unit. Hey, I'm Eric, and just returned from direction North America, and one of my session was a live coding session. You know, that's my thing. I love to do that, and I live coded some AI usage. So trying to find a good use case that is you can code within the time limit of the sessions, and we played around with the formatting addresses using an AI instead of address formatting setup, which worked surprisingly well. In the session, I together with the people in the room, tried out different large language models, and to do that, I have built a code unit that's kind of the code unit I use when playing around with AI. The Microsoft stuff all talks to Copilot, Azure, and that's all good, perfect, makes sense. But what if you want to use something else? And try that out. So that's kind of what I did just for myself. And then after this, a lot of people came up and said, "Oh, hey Eric, can we get a copy of that code unit?" And yes, you can, and it's in the GitHub link under the video. But you cannot go get it before you're subscribed. You know, that's the rule. But let me show you what the code unit is, because there's nothing fancy, but hey, it works for me. So let's take a look at what we can do with this thing. So I got it here. Just started a new project. I copied in the code unit. The code unit is here. So, but let's try it out. See how it works. So. Wow, it's going to be a long evening if I can't hit a single key right. So I'll create AI code unit. I think it's just called AI, actually. So the first thing you do is that you set up the AI, and here is the first change from what Microsoft is doing. Tell who your provider is. So there's an enum. Wow, let's see if I can. There's an enum called AI provider. Oh, it's gonna be a long evening if I can't hit anything. And right now, I support the code unit support 3 things. It probably supports more than that. Supports talking with Azure OpenAI. It supports talking directly to ChatGPT OpenAI. And here's the fair question is, hang on, Eric, that's the same thing. No, it's not. There are slight differences in how their REST API works, how you specify JSON and no JSON and stuff like that. I think that the ChatGPT is a newer incarnation of sort of the same thing. It seems that it has more features than the Azure one, but I might be wrong. Anyway, they're clearly different. And the last one is an interesting option. It's something called LM Studio, which is something there where you can let's see if we can make this bigger. Here, you can run an LLM on your machine if you have the horsepower to do it. I don't, but I have the horsepower to run very small ones slowly. So we'll get to that in just a bit. Anyway, here let's just go for ChatGPT, and the next parameter is a URL to a chat completion endpoint. And I have a code unit here with all my secret keys in, but I think the first thing that will show up at some point I have just to scroll. Here, right there. There's a URL here. That's the ChatGPT. So I can put that in here, and then we need to add a key, and I will get that from my my Codeunit here. Codeunit. My secrets. How about that? So I can put in, and there's probably something here called, what did I call it? Secrets. Secrets the key for OpenAI. So there we go. So to run the Codeunit, to kind of set up the Codeunit, you need to tell what is the provider, the URL to the provider, and some sort of credentials. Again, the difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI is also how credentials are passed for whatever reason. So now we're kind of ready. So we can do this the simplest way at all. We can say add user, which is, we can go hello. That's something. And then we can do message ai.get text. And I think that's AI in 3 lines. So let's run it. Wakey wakey. So I was quite worried if my PC would be able to do this, running, the recording stuff and running the large language model and BC and everything at once on the same machine. But so far, I think we're good. Sure. And I totally forgot to change. I can just do this right away. So always break on error, change this to exclude unless you are debugging something. So hello, how can I assist you today? There you go. So this is as simple as it gets, right? We tell what we want to chat with, the URL, the key, and then we ask, so add user. So think about that if you go into ChatGPT or anything like that, you type in something, and then you hit enter, and then you get a reply, and you type something else in. Add user is basically add a text that the user is saying. So what we can do, so there's one more here called add system. This is kind of where you tell it a preamble. What are you? So we could go, you are a very rude personal assistant. Whenever you get a chance, try to answer the question, but with an insult. Something like that. Are you busy? That's a question. So let's see. So now we gathered a system message and added a user. Well, I'm not too busy for your nonsense, but I guess I have to make time for your endless questions. What do you want? So that's kind of how you set this up. Right now we're just using get text, so we get something back. We can also there's support for get JSON if we're working with JSON. But let's let's just try. So add those just get text right here. So now right now we're talking with ChatGPT. And what we can do here is that we can say that the model we're using, because on ChatGPT compared to Microsoft, where you kind of make a deployment of a specific model, and that's what you just change the model here. So we could, and I think for this one, let's go back and 4.0, yeah. So if I don't do anything, we talk to GPT 4.0 mini. But we could, well, let's go back here and say GPT 4.0. Now we're just changing the model without having to make other deployments, because the OpenAI API works. It's pretty much the same thing in this case. Maybe, you know, there's nothing like a good insult spoken in French, right? Preferable in French. Let's see if Fall can speak French. I can't, by the way, so hang on. I did not really think this true. Let's see. Mon occupe des questions in peut-être dans un monde. No, sorry, I cannot. But clearly that looks like French. So you have options for that, but again, you see, this is my playground. This is just where I goof around. So let's quickly look at what the how the Codeunit actually put together. So you call setup, and the only thing setup does is basically set up a bunch of variables, and some of them you can change afterwards if you want. And here are add system and add user. I should probably add the add assistant also at some point. You can see that user and system are just a list of texts, so we just collecting the information. At a point, you see, so we add, and then we call get text. So what get text, what is that doing? Well, get text is saying that we're for sure not trying to do anything with JSON. So there's a function called try call, which is a try function. So there's a way to use this if you wanna handle errors yourself. This one sets up a HTTP client call here, client.send request. We build up the request, we handle the response. That's about it. The request, the interesting part here is we see the request.content is there's a function called build content that gets the output from another function called build payload. Let's take a quick look at build payload. So build payload returns a JSON object, and here we can see what, okay, so now it builds a JSON structure of the system stuff, and then it builds a JSON structure of the user stuff, and then depending on the provider, it does some different things. We saw this thing with the model and exit. So if you want to change the JSON, you just go in here and goof around with it, right? If you explore the vast incomplete documentation for ChatGPT and find an option of something, you could put it in here. Anyway, so this one then passes so this is a JSON object, passes into build content. Build content is just a little, I do this once in a while. So Business Central sometimes is weird in the way it converts Unicode into UTF-8 if you just do a content just write from a string. If you do this towards also Azure, actually, it's just that the content is wrong. But if in this case, I pass it through a temp blob and make sure I put the correct text encoding, then stream it from the temp blob, works every time. So that's what I'm doing here. And then there is some that was built, those function. So the JSON, depending if you're in JSON mode, then we know it is JSON. Otherwise, we look to see if there's an embedded JSON inside it and so on. So yeah, nothing fancy. A couple of 100 lines of code, but it's a good playground. So we're already at 16 minutes. So let me show you the last thing. So here's LM Studio. I have loaded I have loaded a Roboros something LLM. I got a bunch installed here. I got Gamma, the 5.4, Quen 2.5, DeepSeek, Llama, more DeepSeek. So I got different models here I can play around with. So the only thing I need to do is instead of this, I go AI setup enum AI provider LM Studio, and then I need to grab from in here, grab the URL, and you need to make sure that you have serve on local network. If in my case I'm running from a Docker image, so I need to contact from the Docker image, I need to contact the host, my machine where this is running. This is the IP of my machine right now. So you have to serve on local network. Otherwise, if you don't do this, then this one is only accessible by local host, and you cannot access the local host network from the Docker onto the host. So anyway, serve on local network. That's what you need to do. So I grabbed the chat completion URL here, pop that in. So this one there's no key, so I just go blank. And then let's do wow, that did not work the way I intended. And let's do this as simple as possible. Add user 5+6. I think we can do that. So we deploy this. I go over here. We keep an eye on things here. Oops. Out of scope. Failed to create a URL for the request. Make sure to set a valid URL. Did I do something very wrong? I could have. I'm been known to do that. Post. I've done that so many times when I copy paste from that. Did you yell at the screen? I think this was one of the scenarios where you could yell at the screen. Or if you thought I was doing something really clever, I have to. So you see, then it already called in here. So there was a call, and this LLM returned 11. So we can try to see if we go on this one and saying do this thing instead, the root thing. Let's see if we can get this. Yes, I'm so busy that I can't even be bothered with you. So this model is pretty fast, but I could now go and say, okay, let me load another model and play around with that. So I think that's quite an interesting way to be able to play with it. Anyway, use the link below. Folder called AI Playground. Let's see what the folder is called. AI Playground. So you should be able to go and do this yourself. You can install LM Studio. You can sign up for ChatGPT's API. You can have an Azure subscription, and maybe somebody wants to add something else to this. Claude, I want to try Claude. I haven't really done much with that one yet, so that might be the next one. Anyway, that's my AI Playground Codeunit. Check out this video. There's probably also some AI hacking going on here. Check it out. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care.